Why are unauthorized Haitians building the Dominican Republic? And the question is, can they stay? Tyrone Bowman live. According to the Christian Science Monitor, Vanel Rozier loads heavy sacks of gravel into the back of a waiting truck, his body moving in time with the Haitian compa, music playing from a co-worker's phone. The air smells of sweat, dust, and roasted peanuts wafting from a nearby vendor. Though deep in his work, Mr. Rozier is alert to his surroundings here in the heart of Santo Dominico, the capital of the Dominican Republic. If the police show up, he knows the drill. Drop the sack, grab his backpack, and run. Quote, "We've all done it," he says, nodding at a handful of young men behind him shoveling gravel into large plastic sacks and passing them along. They all come from neighboring Haiti, which shares a border with the Dominican Republic on the island of Hispaniola. In the bustling corner of the city, they work from sunrise to sunset 7 days a week without legal status. An estimated 500,000 Haitians live in the Dominican Republic, seeking the stable life denied them at home, where armed gangs control most of the Haitian capital. State institutions have collapsed, poverty has deepened, and repeated natural disasters have left hundreds of thousands homeless. Dominican Republic President Luis Abdinair has made deportation of Haitians the centerpiece of his government's policy, with an ambitious target: 10,000 deportations a week. Haitians and Dominicans of Haitian descent have been detained at hospitals while preparing for birth, while coming home from school, and for simply, quote, looking Haitian, end quote. In late June, the U.S. government announced it would end temporary protected status for Haitians in September, a move that is expected to increase deportations of Haitians from the United States as well. More than 119,000 Haitians were expelled from the Dominican Republic between January and May. That marked a 71% increase over the same period last year, even below the official target. But for those who work with Haitians every day and depend on their labor, there's a need for increased education here about Haitians' vital role in society. The construction sector, Dominican Republic's second largest industry, is beginning to speak out, calling for visa programs or work authorization. As industry leaders say the workforce is predominantly made up of Haitian workers. Well, why don't you just grant them work visas and temporary protection status, pending approval of citizenship? Wouldn't that be more simplified instead of just saying, get the hell out? Sometimes politicians do the stupidest and dumbest things. And these are people who graduated from college and profess to have all the intellect in the world to solving the world's problems. Quote, "Without Haitian labor, construction stops," end quote, said Eliseo Christopher, president of CAPI, MISIA, the Dominican Confederation of Small and Medium-Sized Construction Enterprises. He says companies are very worried about losing their workforce amid the mass deportations. Dominicans are not interested in doing that kind of work, he says, of hauling cement and breaking ground under the tropical sun. Those in the construction sector estimate 80% of workers are Haitians. Here in America, the farming industry, the agriculture industry is suffering greatly. And these are things that folk don't want to talk about because they don't care, because it hasn't affected their places like Target, that they love so much, Walmart. It hasn't affected the grocery stores that they live in. It hasn't affected the elite stores where these people shop. But as soon as it begins to affect what they're doing, then the outcry will begin to come. Then they'll begin to protest in the streets. And when the elite start protesting, when the well-to-do start protesting, when the affluent start protesting, then it's going to take a different tone in turn. When the economy is affected vastly. You watch what happens. People think this is a joke. Now back to the article. Quote, I don't think it makes a difference, end quote, that employers are speaking up, says Bridget Wooding, a leading migration researcher and director of the Caribbean Migration and Development Observatory, known as AMICA, based in Santo Dominico. It's not just industry leaders, even the agricultural ministry has been speaking out. The president may use his economic and social dialogue to quietly shift course without losing face, quote, close quote. The focus on deportations from the Dominican Republic today has more to do with domestic policies than with Haitians, says Dr. Wooding. Right now, it's the rising cost of living and corruption, she says. This government came to power promising change, but it hasn't convinced people that real reform is happening. Quote, close quote. Isn't that what they all say? Change is coming, change is coming, change is coming, and then you find misery upon misery upon misery. Deportations are popular among voters. Some 82.2% of Dominicans, government supporters, and opponents approve of the policy, according to a recent poll. Over the last year, the government has manned the Haitian border with 11,000 soldiers beginning in April. Immigration agents, sometimes backed by military, have conducted sweeps on buses and markets and around construction sites. Mr. Rosier fled Les Cayes in southern Haiti after a 2021 earthquake devastated his city. His $60 a week wage as a manual laborer allows him to support his mother, father, sister, and brother, all of whom followed him across the border. He has been caught up in sweeps and detained 3 times, he says, always on his way home from work. Each time, he secured his release by paying bribes to the police. Ain't that something? They're supposed to be law-abiding officers, upholding things of a higher standard, but yet they can be bribed. They'll take the money and say to blank with the law. But they swore to an oath to uphold the Constitution and to do what is right. For money, they'll betray anything, anyone, and anybody. So half a month's wages, he says, for the price he has paid for his freedom. Dominican officials insist that deportations comply with human rights standards. Amnesty International and the United Nations have called them discriminatory and a violation of international law. Haiti's interim president compared them to ethnic cleansing at an Emergency Organization of American States meeting last year. Well, how about this directly to the president of Haiti? Why don't you get your house in order in Haiti? Why don't you construct a decent government and take care of your people in Haiti? Why is it that the black-owned run government in Haiti can't control and operate a nation? Stop depending upon the entire world to do for you what you won't do for yourself. This is ridiculous. Why are you in power, Mr. President, in Haiti, if you can't take care of the constituency of your own country? I know black folk don't like me talking this way about black people, but God darn it, it's time that black people start dealing with responsibility, commitment, and obligation. And I'm not going to excuse people just because they're black. Do what is right. Mr. Christopher, the leader of a construction professional association, attracted fierce criticism for publicly demanding talks with the government about regularizing undocumented workers with access to Social Security and other protections from former employment, he says. Well, if they weren't black people, I'll guarantee you they would have been accepted into the Dominican Republic. Yes, I said it. People accuse me of being pro-Haitian. He says his phone exploded with angry messages after he voiced his position on a news program earlier this year. Of course, because the white folk over there got upset. Being pro-Haitian is a term for being unpatriotic, a betrayal of homeland, says Dominican human rights activist Elena Loras, who believes more businesses should follow Mr. Christopher's example. Migration control is framed as protecting sovereignty, she says, an approach that dates back to the Dominican Republic's Declaration of Independence from Haiti in 1844. It was a revolutionary bloody war with the French that Haiti gained independence. And to this day, they've never forgiven them for the war that took place. Deep-seated hatred. Ever since authorities have emphasized racial culture and linguistic differences between Dominicans and Haitians, she says, quote, the government has spread this language of betrayal so widely that Haitians now live in fear of being reported by neighbors, fellow churchgoers, even teachers. Yeah, the churchgoers, those so-called Christians, they are the worst. They're the worst of the racists. They're the worst of the bigots. They're the worst of the segregationists. Bible thumping, scripture quoting, howling, screaming, singing about Jesus all the time. These are the worst patriotic, so-called patriotic people in every country, these so-called Christians. Then they got a nerve to get mad when we criticize you. Be like Jesus instead of trying to be like a politician. Because all Christians and all politicians one day are going to stand before the judgment seat of a holy God. And what are you going to tell him? You were just doing your job? It's not going to work. Still, where Dominicans and Haitians work side by side, sympathy and solidarity build ties. Every morning, and I have to take a quick break in a moment, before raids begin, Thomas Pina, who supervises a medium-sized construction company in Santo Dominico, picks up his Haitian colleagues in a van with tinted windows. He tries to make sure work assignments aren't in busy public areas. Quote, the only hours of the day I feel safe are when I'm working, end quote, says one worker, a former engineering student from Haiti who asked not to be named for his security. He first arrived in Santo Dominico 5 years ago with a dream of finishing his studies. Gangs had stormed and shuttered his university in Port-au-Prince, but unable to obtain a visa here, he was deported several times. When he finally made it back into Santo Dominico last December, Mr. Pina offered him a job. For Mr. Pina, it's about more than protecting good employees. It's about being a good friend. Now that's an example of being a disciple of the Messiah. Many Dominican employers have limited contact with their Haitian workers, he says, often because they're on different ends of the labor spectrum. But my co-worker here, for instance, he says, of the young engineer, we work side by side, we talk every day, which has shifted his perspective. Mr. Pina laughs, embarrassed, recalling how he once repeated the same, quote, bad things about Haiti and Haitians as everyone else. All I knew was what I saw on the news, poverty, crime, and problems, end quote. Well, isn't it ironic that whenever you turn on the news, when they talk about poverty, crime, and problems, it's always Black people who are demonized 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year, 52 weeks out of the year. Like other people in other ethnic groups don't commit crimes. Are you serious? I have read articles and periodicals about how much crime white people commit every single day, from murders to rapes to thievery, assaults, and everything else. But they don't want to magnify it. And it's sad and pathetic. From any group of people, regardless of who they are, that they have to run from one place to another to find refuge. So now the former student dreams of visiting, or Mr. Pina dreams of visiting Haiti one day. As fear and distrust tighten their grip on the Haitian diaspora, Mr. Pina's friendship has served as a reminder to some of his co-workers that they are Dominicans standing by them, that there are Dominicans standing by them. Sometimes, the young engineer from Haiti says, his uncertainty about when he might be detained becomes so overwhelming that he contemplates returning to Haiti on his own. In those moments, Mr. Pina reassures him, stay with us. We want you here. What does the Statue of Liberty stand for in the middle of the New York Harbor? And what does the Statue of Liberty really represent? Never surrender, never quit. Let's look at the comments section. Okay. You're the number one fan? All right. Thank you very much. Let's see. My name is Andre. What's up, Andre? OMG. Wonderful said hi. All right, y'all. See you in the next video. Never surrender. Never quit. Listen, y'all. Don't forget to subscribe to Tyrone Bowman Live. If you've already subscribed, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Never surrender, y'all. Never quit. Says, is that a lace front? Well, I know it's a sharp haircut. Thank you for your compliment. Talk to you.